You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
I want to talk about news, don't want the drama. From no pretentious media Madonna. I found me a great ganja mama. Cannabis and coffee with Tamarijuana.
Good morning, folks. Jesus, it's been a morning. In fact, I wasn't even sure I was going to make it today. How is everyone? So yeah, it's been a morning, I guess, with everything that's been going on. I actually had to run a repeat last week because, you know, my life is a nightmare. What in the actual? Oh, those must be bleach spots. Damn it. Oh, well, I just threw something on quick because I'm running around once again like a chicken with my head cut off. But yeah, last week I actually had to call it because my son, hurt himself pretty bad last weekend. He ended up in the hospital on Sunday with a dislocated and now broken elbow. Right? And of course, you know, they send him home with Tylenol and Advil, right? Poor kid's just been like in a lot of pain. And unfortunately, illegally, you know, but whatever, he's been getting a little extra pain relief. And thankfully, you know, we have tested ingredients that, you know, can be given safely now, or a little more safely, I would say. And only because, like I said, it's not a matter of it not cannabis not being safe. It you know, there's always risks to any medication that you take, but again, it's a factor of testing, and I don't have to, you know, worry about mold. You know, hopefully, in some aspects, you know, sometimes there is, you know, there's always that risk too, even with the legal market. But mold, but other drugs being laced in it on the street. And that's the biggest thing that I think, you know, many of us worried about prior, but not so much as we do now. Because the drugs on the streets now aren't the drugs of yesterday. They're just not. And drug reform is something that's, you know, pretty dear to my heart too, because, you know, overall, I'd like to see all drugs legalized and regulated. And I mean manufactured right from start to finish. I know that doesn't sit well with a lot of people, but the only way to control them, make it so they're not poisonous, make it so that they're not killing people. I don't know. I don't know what I don't have the answers for everything. I damn well wish I did. In fact, I wish I had a magic wand so that I could just change everything. You know, like not change everything. Like I don't want to be a dictator, but I mean, yes, for the good. Like I, you know, end world poverty and, you know, and start from there. I am frozen. I'm sorry. I'm kind of messing around here, but I am frozen. I'm looking for my heating blanket. I know it's summer. It's not summer anymore. I mean, it is like it's been really weird. It's been going from like 10 degrees to like 30 degrees here. So I don't know how your outdoor gardens are doing in this area, but again, it's gotten down to 10 degrees. I mean, it's not freezing by any stretch, but it's getting down well, you know, nipply you know, in in hindsight, it's like I said, it goes from being 10 degrees at night to 30 degrees during the day. So, you know, I go to work, you know, at 3 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock at night, it's freezing. I get up in the morning, it's freezing. And then yeah, it's the weirdest weather, right? So today I figured we'd, you know, like I said, I had to do a rerun last week because of my son's brokenness. But I was thinking, oh, you know, I had put out there that I needed gas, but of course, it's hard. It's not hard, but it's harder to get guests, people that want to come on and talk about things that they're working on and stuff, especially in the legal market. I don't know that they're able to because a lot of them have like non-disclosures. They don't want to be, sharing secrets and telling everybody what's going on, behind closed doors. And I get that. I guess I don't know what but I guess people don't want their secrets being shared. I don't know. But a lot of people that were also in the industry or in the community, I won't say industry because industry is totally completely different from what our community was. And I really hate it when people say, we're in the cannabis industry." If you're in the cannabis industry, that means you work in a store or you work at a licensed producer or you work within the legal market. Um, we were never in the cannabis industry when we were doing our activism. We were in the cannabis community, and we were all actively, working towards, ending prohibition, but there was no industry. I mean, sure there was, but I mean, it wasn't wasn't like it is now anyway. And I was to a point. I mean, I had a compassion club too, but I mean, it's not the same as it is now. Like it's like ridiculously in like over, big licensed production sites, big packaging sites, big edible, they're making like batches of candies and cookies, or not cookies so much because I don't think you can get cookies in the legal market, but candies and gummies and caramels and stuff in like huge batches, right? Like in factory size stuff, like not in like I was doing in my kitchen, right? So things have changed a lot. And I, no longer work out of my kitchen. It's just not a thing I do anymore. And that's because there's no access to the stuff that I need. Well, there is, but not in bulk, right? It's not like I can roll into a store and say, "Hey, can I get like, an ounce of shatter and a big chunk?" Right? That doesn't happen. In fact, I don't even know you can buy shatter in the store. I think it's rosin and yeah, like your distillants and distillates and whatever the heck, are in our vapes. But I actually I think I posted this on my page the other day. But I went and bought myself a new little battery for my vapes, right? Because I've been through several of these, and I had this other one too that was pink and blue. I think it was a CC. Uh, I kind of like this one because you can actually like. Let me see here. You can see. You can actually set this is a Yokan. It's called the Kudo, but you can actually set the temp on it, right? And I had a DaVinci, which is a bigger unit that you could do the same thing. It actually took the 2 grammars and whatever. Where this will too, right? But it was like a box. And you have to slide the cartridge into it. Another failed battery, right? I'll get the other one that I think is just this one. I think was the worst because you got to put these little adapters to the bottom of your vape, right? And then put it in the battery. This one's just right here. Hang on, I'll grab it quick because it was a fail too. DaVinci, I believe it grew legs and moved itself somewhere else in the house. But this too, right? Like, and there's no battery, there's no button, there's no way of adjusting the heat on it. And then you have this little gold piece that you got to put on the bottom of your fucking vape and then stick it in here. And if you lose that gold piece, you're fucked. Or if you throw your vape out and forget that it's on there, you're fucked, right? So, like, I mean, how many people remember that they've got this gold thing they got to it was the same with the DaVinci too. It's like a little attachment. Anyways, it's charged, but you think I can find the little gold piece that goes inside? Of course not, right? So again, and that's another one where you have to like suck a golf ball through a garden hose to get a decent haul on it, right? And I'm sorry, but I'm old. I don't want to be having to suck a golf ball through a fucking garden hose to get a fucking decent fucking haul on my fucking vape. Just saying. So this little fucker here picked it up, and like I said, it's got the adapter. You can set your temps. It goes up and down, and it's a Yokan. And since I bought it, I haven't had to charge it yet. And it shows you right on there what your charging is too, like how much battery life's left. And it's just a regular, C. And I got mine set at 3. You can take it all the way up to 4. You can go down as low as 1.8. So depending on what you're, what you want, because of course the lower the temp, the more terpene, slower burn, you get more flavor kind of thing, and then in between, depending on what you want, right? Anyway, I'm two fisting. I got a doobie in one hand, double fisted, and then the other. Okay, so back to the topic at hand. We were going to talk about cannabis science. So I have to let my mouse charge a little bit. Apparently, I've been neglectful of my computer and letting, the keyboard and the mouse charge. So my mouse is absolutely fucking dead at the moment. So yeah, we can talk about so the benefits of the plant, right? So we've had several like testimonial kind of thing with patients and everybody that comes forward and says how much it helps them. But in the basics of it all, we don't really have any science backed research that proves that a certain strain or is effective for a certain, MS, or, a certain strain is effective for a certain cancer, or a certain strain is effective for a certain or rheumatoid arthritis or whatever, right? Or pain or whatever that it's going to work for. And that's the kind of research we were kind of hoping that would be being done with legalization, that they would be able to like pinpoint what terpene and what, CBD, CBN like combination would actually be effective to help somebody with said affliction, right? And I think that was something that we were kind of looking forward to having being done at the legal like level, and that's not being done. So I understand the testing levels with pesticides and terpenes and CBD levels and THC levels, but I would like the more scientific kind of research being done on what CBD and how much how much THC and how much all combined helps with a certain affliction, right? And I'm not sure that that could actually be done, because again, that would be tearing down the plant into different levels. And I honestly believe that you need the full spectrum of everything to be able to help you with what you're, what's going on. But again, it's strains and terpenes, right? So if you want your terpene levels and your CBD levels and your THC levels being on a certain a combination that would actually help with um MS or help with colitis, Crohn's, IBS, like what certain, or is it a terpene? Is it a CBD? Is it a CBN? Is it the THCA? Is it the acidity? Like what in the plant that actually helps these afflictions? So far, we're coming up zero on that. Okay, well, apparently I need a lighter again. So I'm just like I said, waiting for my mouse to charge a little bit because it's telling me that it's super low. And then I will bring forward up this. I've got a page open here where I was kind of doing a little bit of investigating and like looking. I hate the word research, so I'm not going to use it. Doing some digging, I guess, on what, if any, scientific research has been done on cannabis, where it's been done, what the studies entailed, and how they came up with the findings, right? And so far, I'm coming up with not a lot. And they say Google's free. It is free, but it doesn't always have everything, because if the information is not put into the data banks by anybody, then there isn't any, right? So if there's no research done to be put on Google, then I'm not going to find any, or put on a research. 'Cause I mean, you can delve in too. You can, go looking into like medical science documents. You can go into the, medical science journals. You can go and do some pretty in-depth looking, because just because Google doesn't have it there, then you go into other avenues, right? Let's see if this dang mouse is going to let me open a page now. Shouldn't take that long to charge it, but again, it says it's connected and we are up and running. Okay, so we're gonna go here and we're gonna go share screen. We're gonna go up here. All right. Okay, so we're back over into this Google search. So again, like I've put up here, so we've got cannabis science and technologies, therapeutic cannabis effects of cannabis and cannabinoids. So this is the National Institute of Health. Okay, so we're going to go into actually, this is an official website of the United States. All right. So there is some actual research that has been done in the US, and the health and effects of the cannabinoids, the current state of evidence and recommendations. And I don't see a date on this. So it's saying the chapter highlights is an adult with chemotherapy-induced nausea and vomiting, and oral cannabinoids are effective antiemetics. Adults with chronic pain, patients who are treated with cannabis or cannabinoids were more likely to experience a clinical significant reduction in pain symptoms. An adult with multiple sclerosis, MS-related spasticity, short-term use of oral cannabinoids improves patients' reported spasticity symptoms. For those conditions, the effect of cannabinoids are modest. For all other conditions evaluated, there is inadequate information to assess their effects. So, this is like this, and it goes in a long history, medical plant, blah blah blah, and into some history. And then the renewed interest in the therapeutic effects of cannabis animates the movement that began 20 years ago, and that was in 1996 in Arizona. In California, first passed medical cannabis legislation, although Arizona later rescinded approval. So this is quite extensive information, actually, and it's not new. Like, this goes back a few years, right? So the conclusion here is cancer is a broader term to describe the wide range of related diseases with it. So there's substantial evidence that cannabis is an effective treatment for chronic pain in adults. So when we're thinking that there's not a lot of research done, which, in some hindsights there really isn't, and in others there is, I don't know, you know, what exactly, depending on what you're looking for. But right here, like I said, this is the therapeutic effects, and this is on a US medical website, National Library of Medicine, actually, right? National Center for Biotechnology Information. So this is a pretty good breakdown here of what they're finding. And again, this is not new. This is not a new study. This is 2007, and of course, it's got Dr. Russo in here, right? And that was from 2007. Cannabis sativa, long history of medical plant, likely dating back more than 2 millennium, is available in as a licensed medicine in the United States for about a century before American medical associations removed it in the 12th edition of the U.S. Pharmacope. In 1985, pharmaceuticals companies received approval to begin developing delta-9 tetracannabinoids, THC preparations, dronaboids and nabalone. Nabalone. I've heard of nabalone for the therapeutic use and result. Cannabinoids were reintroduced to the armamentarium or willing healthcare providers. So, right? So in the States, they're seeing this is, like I said, National Institute of Health. So let's go and see what else we can find here. So Journal of Cannabis Research. And again, here we are. These are medical, right? These are all from medical websites. Journal of Cannabis Research. So this is basically Editor-in-Chief David A. Gorlick, MD, PhD, is professor of psychiatry at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. So again, maybe there's not a lot of research being done in Canada, but it appears that there is, a fair bit of research being done elsewhere. Uh-oh, I don't know what I just dropped. Oh, great. And because cannabis in Canada was legalized recreationally, and I mean, it was legalized medically, many years ago, like 2000. But again, there was no access, and that was the thing that we were fighting for so much when I was when we were protesting. Right, it was more for the fact that we wanted better access there. That's better angle. That thing was way too bright. So so better access, right? And medical patients still don't have better access. We've got access to the legal market, but that's not necessarily the access that some people require. Like, I mean, some of us can get by with what the legal market offers, right? Because I don't use edibles. I can't. It's something because of my colitis, and depending on what it's made with, like, I'm not a big, like, I can't eat a lot of sugar, and I can't eat a lot of gluten because of my colitis and stuff. And I definitely can't eat a lot of green, right? Like, that's something that I've found over the years that is really hard. Like, I cannot deal with. My stomach or my colon will not handle green items like lettuce or like a lot of chlorophyll, right? So, like, again, so that's where we're at with cannabis. Like, when I was making my canna butter, I would have to like shock it several times to try and get as much of the chlorophyll or the green out of the butter itself, because it would, like, I'd be, yeah, like, my it would just make me, I'd be in pain. Like, my guts would be like cramping and sore, and like, like, I don't know how to. Over the years, I guess I described it as having the tequila shits every day of your life, right? So I prefer to kind of avoid that at all costs if I can. Oh, but that's just the truth of the matter, right? But again, like, anything that's got a certain level of too much sugar and stuff in it, some people can't handle that either. So with the market being the way it is, and it's not like you can't access flour, and but then you get into the affordability, right? And but right now, like, honestly, the legal market is pretty dang affordable. Um, I was paying way more for ounces of cannabis in the other market than I am now. Like, I can pick up some really decent stuff for under $100 for a half ounce, right? Like, I mean, or an ounce. I can usually get an ounce for like $130, and that's taxes, right? A decent one, like, you can get ones for under 100. They're not the best. I mean, it's not triple A, and it's sometimes small, like the smalls and stuff, like, but they don't lie about it. They don't say, "Hey, this is the best weed in town and it's $100." They don't. It's, they tell you it's, low THC. It's usually the smalls, which means it's the smaller buds on the plant, and you can pick up those ounces for like $99, $100. Some of them are 89, 99, $100 all in, right? And that's with your taxes. And like I said, in British Columbia, we also pay a vape tax, but not just on cannabis vapes. We pay a 20% vape tax on all vapes, like even tobacco ones, like the ones that I sell in my store. There's a 20% tax over and above the tobacco tax on any of the vapes that we sell. And I don't know why, because I think that's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, they seem to be able to want to, like I said, I don't really mind paying taxes if it was going into things it should be going into. Like, I don't mind paying tax on cannabis if it was going into stuff that it should be, but it's not. Like, it's not going into education and healthcare. It's going into law enforcement, into community safety units and stupid stuff that we don't need. And that's billions of dollars. Billions of dollars being funneled into community safety units and recovery for cannabis. To me, that just seems redundant. Like, I don't need any rehabilitation for cannabis. I'm good. And I don't think that I'm seeing people lining up for cannabis rehabilitation and recovery. I mean, if they're putting that money into actual, like, recovery for fentanyl and opioids and that kind of thing, okay. But I don't think that's where the money's going to either. And then that would be going into healthcare, right? Because in any state of any recovery is healthcare. So why isn't all those billions of dollars of cannabis taxation going straight into healthcare? Another question to ask your MP and your MLAs, more your MLA, because healthcare and cannabis are provincial. Because even after feds, legalized it federally across the board, they handed the regulation of it to the provinces, just like they do. So they hand them the money. They hand the cannabis tax go straight back to the province from the feds. So again, I ask, and I want you to keep asking, where the fuck is the tax money? Like, and I'm not kidding about this. We really should be banging on about where the fuck the plant cannabis taxes money is going and being used for. Because honestly, I want to know. It's a lot of money. And like I said, if it's going into community safety units, where's the one that we have here? We don't have a community safety unit here. So what? The lower mainland's got 20 of them and they're funding them, and the rest of the province is just getting fucking fucked out of all that tax money, including our town. Or maybe I should get a hold of the municipality and ask them where the cannabis money that they're using is going. Maybe I will. It's just that I get sidetracked, right? Like I've got so many things going on in my head because of my attention deficit, honestly. I get onto one track and nobody bites on it and starts helping me with it. So then I lose interest. And then I'll go on to the next thing. And again, then nobody jumps on it. Nobody shows any fucking interest. So I just give it up. And then I go on to the next thing. But again, you have to start asking your premiers where the cannabis taxation money is going. Phone your mayors. Like if you've got cannabis retail stores in your towns, phone your city councils, ask them where that money's going. And same with the province, because like I said, we're all, everybody's, we're paying so much taxes, income tax. Ask them where the $2.8 billion a year is going for cannabis. Because like I said, that's all 75% of that's going to the province. It's not going to the feds. And I'd like to know, because like I said, the feds kick that back. Same with anything else. Anything that's provincial jurisdiction, anything, you have to ask your premier, where's the fucking money? So again, you see all these fucking idiots that are running your provinces, squandering, and they're getting, like I said, $2.8 billion a year off of cannabis. And cannabis didn't just get legalized like yesterday, okay? We've got 7 years of cannabis taxation, plus the 20% vape taxes off your vapes, and then your tobacco taxes, and all your liquor taxes, and never mind the income taxes. Where the fuck's the money? And why are we all in such a deficit? Or is that just another fucking lie they like to tell us so they can keep fucking stiffing us for fucking more cash? But again, that 75% of your province's tax money is supposed to be going to where? They say community safety units and law enforcement and recovery for cannabis addiction. Bullshit. Just saying. Who's addicted? Where's the recovery centers that are popping up for cannabis recovery? Where's the fucking community safety units in all these towns? I know there's one on the island because I keep fucking with my friend Michelle, and they keep fucking with my friend the Ted Smith out in Victoria with the Victoria Buyers Club. So we know they've got community safety units out there, but I don't see one here. And Cranbrook's a pretty large community too, right? It's the key city of this. Anyways, now that I'm done ranting for a second, I better light this joint and take a break and thank our sponsors for keeping us on the air. And and thank that we've got a new sponsor too. We do. So we've got to take a quick break and thank them. So I'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Are you looking for non-stop, continuous cannabis and psychedelic programming? If you are, then turn your browsers to 420radio.ca or paceradio.net, where you will find the 420 Pace re-rolled Saturday. Everything gets started at 8 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyndonega.
We have two lines of drinks. One's called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with, and then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
All right, we're back live on Pace Radio. And again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, and again to our producers, Al and Al, for all their hard work behind the scenes, as well as all our other creators that are out there pushing the network and doing a great job. And if you're ever, bored, watch Doobie and the Newbie. It's pretty funny, actually. I have to say, I have to give them. They're hilarious. The two of them together, they're hilarious. Anyways, that's MJ and Tim, and it's Doobie and the Newbie, if you ever can catch that one. It's a good one. And that's also on our network. I'm not sure the exact times. I think it's on right after. We are on Wednesday night, actually. So yeah, they follow the Pace Radio show. So that we're on the air at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday night. So they're on right after us. And we do a 90-minute show, me and Al. And then, then Mary Jane and Tim are on right after us, and that's Doobie and the Newbie, and it's hilarious. Like I said, and a lot of great information. And again, that's what we're here for. We're here to educate people about cannabis and the plant. And we've been doing this for 20 years. Well, it'll be 20 years in 2007 for me specifically, but I started in 2007, right? So it's 2024. It's been a long time. And yes, I'm fine, thank you. But again, we were talking about cannabis science and how much information is actually coming out of the US, right? Because they've had, I think, a longer stint of medical cannabis research being, and of course they've got a larger population, bigger institutes, and so forth. But I know that there are some studies going on at the University of Montreal as well. So we're going to look that up and take a peek and see what's going on at the University of Montreal, because I know that we've had guests on the show prior. We had Dr. Ware on our show on Pace, and we were talking to him about what they were doing. But again, it wasn't so much research for like I was talking about what strain's going to specifically help for what affliction, right? It was more about the harms and what to stay away from, and and again, we need that information too. But how many years have people been smoking this plant, and what? I haven't heard of anybody dropping dead from it. In fact, there's never been a person in the history of the world. And that's just a fact, Jack. Okay, so we're going to go here. Research in Canada. And that way we'll get more specifics. Because like I said, I know there was some studies going on at the University of Montreal. Okay, so we've got research and done it, but this is actually from the these are from Stats Canada. So here's the one from McGill University. So so this is a message from Carol J. Register. Please click here. Research Center for Cannabis. So they do have a research center for cannabis at the university, McGill University in Montreal. Interesting. And we are going to see with legalization in Canada approaching the 1 year mark. Oh, this is old. This is really old. Excited to be part of the McGill University academic community that's committed itself to conducting cannabis-based research. Okay, so when was this done? So this is Faculty of Medical. Okay, so this is great, but how old is this? I don't like it when I can't see what year this was published or what about us new. So we got news, faculty, parent, trainees, events, recent publications. Here we go. We got some recent publications. Recent publications. Is the legally make a mistake. Okay, so did we make a mistake? Update 2019. 2019. 2019. 2018. So there's been absolutely nothing else done. For most recent publications on cannabis research, click here. All right. Again, we go back to the National Library of Medicine and back to the United States. So then McGill University then is basically pushing it back to this cannabis neurological pain. Again, 2022, 2023, Canadian Network. Mood and anxiety treatment of 2023. There was a study done. And what year was this? 2019 again, 2021. So the latest one, it looks like an association of cannabis use in adolescents risk, review depression, anxiety, and suicidal in young adults. But there's no date on that either. Oh yeah, 2019, okay. Yeah, so it looks like the latest one that was done here is 2023. Canadian Network for Mood and Anxiety Treatments. Update clinical guidance for management of major depressive disorder in adults. So let's click on there and see if it'll let us read it. Hello. Just the last half of my podcast here going on. Okay, so we got a Canadian Network of Mood and Anxiety Treatments with a whole bunch of credentials of people that looks like were involved. Network for Mood and Anxiety Treatment last published clinical guidelines for management of major depressive disorder 2016. Owing the CanMat convened guidelines editorial group compromised with academic clinical patient partners. Results, the updated guidelines compromise 8 primary topics in a question and answer format. CanMat 2023 updated guidelines provide evidence, information, recommendations, the management of clinical friendly format updates guidelines. Conflicts of interest. Oh, and then it just goes into a bunch of gibberish about different pharmaceutical companies. I don't see any actual results. Well, I guess there's 191 pages. I guess I'm not going to get through that right now. Good grief. But so again, like I said, they have a study at the McGill University that they were doing, but again, everything's 2019 in Canada, and then it kicks when you go to get more information on the most recent information that's coming out, it kicks you onto this National Archive page out of the U.S., right, which is a fully accredited doctors, journalist journalism publication. Like there's nothing hokey about it. Like it's all science based. And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of gibberish. And I'm not a doctor either, right? Like I have no idea what the medical, like it's no different than me trying to read. Well, I can read more legal gibberish than I can um medical gibberish, that's for sure. Like I've never been involved in the medical field at all. The legal field's quite different. I've done a lot more in that aspect of things, but there's a lot of information there to take in. So, like I said, we were wondering over the last 10 years of pretty much it's been 10 years. It's been since 2017 when they regulated and legalized here in Canada, and we're going on like 6 years. Where was the research going to come from? And we did have that consultation, but again, only 650 people even did the survey. So how can you actually base anything off 650 people's experience when people aren't willing to be engaged and actually do something and actually put forward their anything, like put forward their recommendations or how it helps them, or even answer the questions if you're not willing to do the survey that Health Canada put out. And there was a question on there as well, 5.1, and me and Al and a bunch of us made a big stink about it, about do we need the medical program? And thankfully in this consultation they decided that they were going to keep it because of, but again, 650 people, folks. How many people, like, and our numbers for registered medical patients in Canada has dropped significantly. Like when I first got my licensing, there's only like 10,000 of us. Then we went up to 45,000 of us, and now we're back down because doctors aren't signing again because we have access, right? The legal market has made it so that we do have dignified access. Now, is it the access that everybody needs? Not necessarily, right? And that's just a big thing that we've stated. Like a lot of the milligrams aren't what a patient would need, right? 10 milligrams is not enough. In per package, you would get diabetes before you would actually get any health benefits, right? So we've discussed that a number of times too. So, and that's just fact. And I know I think Al and I found there's one medical dispensary in all of Canada. And again, they're still having to use the legal means and the legal market and the legal levels. And we don't have any. Like at one time when I first became a medical licensed patient, I could have as much cannabis storage. I could carry as much as I wanted. I never had the restrictions that we did have, though, we could not share. And that's what I got nailed. I got nailed because I decided to share 4 grams of cannabis, right? So we couldn't share. Baking, there was no baking, right? You couldn't bake. You couldn't make canna butter. You weren't supposed to make anything. You were supposed to eat it in raw form. Like, so again, why we went to court, why we kept banging on at them. Children, again, you expected, Liam was what, 10? You expected a 10-year-old to smoke, you wouldn't allow him to consume it in a tincture or anything else because we weren't legally allowed to do that. So if it wasn't for, Owen Smith and, Kurt Tusaw and John Conroy and these people that, fought and went to court all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada, all the way up there, we wouldn't have these privileges now. And now you can. And because of these people, they've actually made it so that, everybody has access. Now, everybody, right? You're welcome. Because we fought long and hard for that. And it really kind of, makes me kind of pissed off. Again, like I said, where's the money? Like where all this fighting that we've done for 3 decades, where's the tax money going to? Because it's not going to where it should be going. We asked for health and education. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what we wanted. Not for, community safety units to go around busting people still, when there isn't anybody really to bust, because they've even admitted that, crime rates are down in Canada for possession by 95%. 95%, which is great because that means it's freeing up law enforcement and more money that's not going through the courts and clogging the courts, and freeing up law enforcement to actually do their jobs, right? Instead of chasing after people that are smoking joints. Just saying. Again, with, the legalization of harder drugs too, that frees up the police from actually, being there to write a ticket, charge something, and it saves taxpayers money. But again, where's the money that's coming in for all the taxes? because, like I said, there's a pile. $2.8 billion. I think it might even be more, right? Hello. I'm sorry, I'm not really paying attention here. Hi guys, because I'm on stream right here. Oh, hi, Limestone Hydroponics. There's one of my sponsors. Hi guys. I've got both going. I'm on StreamYard here and I'm on TikTok here. So hi guys, thanks for joining. And I'm on StreamYard here. Doing my actual show on the network here. But back and forth, right? So again, like I said, we've got so many different avenues that could be being brought forward to again make it so that we shouldn't be patients shouldn't have to be looking for higher milligrams. And thankfully, we have some indigenous dispensaries and stores that do actually compensate for that. And they've got, they're sovereign. And again, I've said this 110 times. It's all sovereign. I don't think there should be a problem with them being everywhere. It shouldn't just have to be on the reserve. That's just how I've always seen it that way. Because somebody made a comment about one of the medicine wheel stores opening up in downtown Toronto, and I said, so, well, they're not. I said, everything's theirs. Like seriously, like, are you kidding me? You're gonna make a stink about where they're gonna put a medicine wheel up in a dispensary? Like, shut the fuck up. Like seriously, like, no. No, but then again, it's all, corporate greed too, because that's another thing that was brought in to our plant that none of us really wanted, was the corporate greed that went along with it. The green rush, right? The green rush. And that still happens a lot where, and it's cost a lot of money to get into this industry. That's why I don't say I'm in the industry, because I'm in the community, and I never was in the industry, because the industry, you have to have money. In fact, people that didn't even consume, use patient, they just all jumped right on police, XMPs, like all kinds of, because they saw the cash. I mean, stock markets, right? Like Canopy Growth, like all these things were going to, it really wasn't how it was. The ones that had it in their heart, like I said, it wasn't really the way it was all meant to be, but it's the way it ended up being. So then you have to accept that that's the way it is and try and work within it, right? And that's pretty much what I think most of us have done, is we've accepted the way the government's rolled it out. We put as much effort as we could and our input in as we could, and they took what they wanted, and I guess didn't listen to a lot of what we said, to be fair. But they did roll it out. So we should be really grateful, honestly, to have this ability to access cannabis legally across our country in whatever form that it is. But we should also be grateful for the people that actually came before all of this. Like I said, Owen Smith, that fought in court, and all the patients before him, Hitzig and Allison Murden and Deb Schultz Giffen. There's so many people, I can't even start. Ted Smith, I could even begin to list the people. Michelle Rain, like I can't even start, because if I do, I'm going to miss somebody, and then I'm going to kick my ass because I've left somebody out. But there's so many people that fought for this, right? Over the decades, before me, after me, and there's going to be more still, because and it's never going to be perfect, but until people that use cannabis for medicine actually get some recognition out of Health Canada that it's a medicine and that it's an effective one. But again, like I said, there's, you see studies that are being done in the States. So maybe on some level, we're going to eventually get there, but our networks have really stopped working. Like patients have really just we don't have our active groups that we used to have that would go to Parliament Hill. Like we did, we rolled in there, we showed up because they were holding our paperwork to grow 10 weeks. It was taking too long. People were having to rip down their medical gardens, so we did. We all jumped on planes and we all went to Parliament Hill, and we made a stink. Now, was it effective enough to do anything? We got a little girl her license signed that day because she'd been waiting for 10 fucking weeks for hers, and she couldn't wait anymore. So was there an outcome and a positive one to that? There was. Do we have to keep going back and do it again? Yep. Do we have to go back to court again? Yep. Will we have to go back to court again? Probably. Is there court cases going on right now still? Yes. So as legal as cannabis is in Canada, is there still people being falling through the cracks? Absolutely. There is. And that's the people that use it for medicine, right? And like I said, we do have access. It's not like there's a store, even in my own town. I got a store on every Friday, there's plenty of access. Is it the access that they need? Maybe sometimes, but not always, right? And that's just the unfortunate thing. And like I said, in order to get into this whole realm of things, you had to have a lot of money. And a lot of legacy people were left out and behind. And, you know, like just keep on moving the bar. But we've also brought the bar down that there's more micro crafting gardens available, right? And I wasn't involved in part of that, but I've got friends that were, and that have now got their, you know, licensing. I know there's medical like distribution still. You can still like, you know, buy your cannabis through, I think, Broken Coast and the providers under a medical, you know, whatever realm. You can still get a medical licensing. It's not like they took any of that away. You can still grow more than 4 plants in Canada if you get a medical licensing for that. In fact, you can grow like it's 5 plants per 1 gram. And that's why I've always maintained that the legal market isn't even giving, you know, recreational people dignity enough to be able to grow enough for 1 gram of cannabis. Because in the medical market or the medical regulations, 1 gram equals 5 plants. So if you're licensed as a patient, you can actually grow 5 plants per gram. So if you were licensed for 3 grams of cannabis, that's 15 plants. So again, you know, where's the dignity in, you know, anybody recreational getting 4 plants, and then you can't have them outside where people can see them, and all these regulations for a plant. And that's what it boils down to. It's a plant, right? You dry it up, you smoke it, you put it in some butter, you eat it. You know what I mean? Nobody's dying from it, and nobody has died from it. And again, that's another thing with legalization that's actually shown and proven that the sky didn't fall, right? Like I said, crime rates are down 95%. And then, you know, and I did see some news article about somebody in a car accident, and they were trying to link cannabis to the car accident and the impairment. And I'm pretty sure, I think that was in Manitoba. I was reading something, and I'm like, was the person just cannabis? Because I'm having a really hard time with that. Being that impaired to drive to cause an accident with cannabis. But again, it affects everybody differently too, right? Some people it doesn't affect that strongly, and other people it affects. I personally have never seen anybody that fucked up that they would actually jump in a car and fucking kill somebody on just cannabis. Because usually people fall asleep before they're that fucked up on cannabis. But again, like I said, I wasn't there. I don't have, you know, direct knowledge, but I have a really hard time swallowing the fact that, cannabis was related to an impaired that, you know, killed somebody. There, just like there was one in Edmonton, right? But they also did mention in that the guy had 50 Percocets also in, you know, level in his system, but they wanted to blame the cannabis for that car accident, neglecting to say the guy had been taking, you know, opioids. Right. So again, the slant and the fact that, you know, even like talking to my 14-year-old son, like, you know, the impairment, like he even sees the difference. Like it's not the same as alcohol. Like you don't act the same. You don't change. You don't smoke a few joints, want to go out and have a fight and beat up people. Right. I don't know. Anyways, then, so we're going to be wrapping the show up. We've got about 5 minutes left. And again, usually I do some shout outs to people, which is usually my producers. And of course, our great sponsors, which we have Limestone Hydroponics, we've got Legacy 420, Campbellford Lifestyle, and now we've got the new one. And I can't even remember what the heck it is. Yeah, I should be able to. I will just play the promo for it. How about that? Be right back. Yeah, if I can find my mouse to work. There we are. Okay, so we're going to actually play a promo. What one shall we play? Oh, I like this one. Al likes this one too. We're going to go with some bud shots. Be back in a minute. right? Those were some great bud shots. Some of those plants are actually like owls, right? And a lot of us have been growing like they've been for like 30 years. And I've been licensed since 2012. So that's yeah, a long time to be able to have the ability and the privilege to be able to grow my own medicine. And I love doing it. And a lot of people do it just because it helps get them out of bed. And when Stephen Harper decided he was going to try and take that away from us, we said, fuck you. And we took him to court. And we had a whole cannabis coalition across this country that raised over $3.5 million to pay for a lawyer to fight that fucker in court. And we won. And we got our gardens back. And that's why the ACMPR was because it went from the AMMAR to the MPR, where you were going to have to buy through the licensed production, right? And then we went to court. And that's how the ACMPR was born. But the MMPR also helped with all the big licensed producers being born. So you want to know how that all got going? That's how it got going. Fucking conservatives. And they're fucking, I'm going to cut and you're going to pay us, the big corporate, to get your medicine. And we went, no, we're not. Yeah, we sent it to him. He wanted us to send our plants to him in kitty litter. We sent it to him in kitty litter, all right. Yeah, so that was Stephen Harper. Remember, Stephen Harper. Yeah, the conservatives. They did that to medical patients in Canada. And it cost us $3.5 million to fight them. And we won. So anyways, so that's wrapping it up for today, folks. Thanks for joining in. And we'll be back next week. I'll be live with Al on Wednesday night at, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on PACE, People Advocating Cannabis Education. And that is on Wednesday night. And I'm back next Monday, Cannabis and Coffee with me, Tamarijuana. And if you ever want to be part of my show, just contact me. And I'm looking for people that have stories, patients, anything, anything cannabis related. You have a good week. We'll see you next week on this show, and I'll see you Wednesday on PACE. Have a good day, folks. Bye. I guess I better, be on board with this.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partners 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.